All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome. We are live. Welcome to Circuit Stream's Introduction to HoloLens 2 presentation. My name is Kyle Nichols, and I'm on the education team here at Circuit Stream. And tonight, I'm going to be joined by Nakisa Donnelly as well. She is an instructor and developer for us here at Circuit Stream as well. Real quick, I am going to take about 10-ish minutes here to introduce us and the company and why we're here tonight. Nakisa was then going to follow up and walk through some design considerations and development considerations for the HoloLens 2. And then I'll jump back on here and take 2 or 3 minutes to conclude. So without further ado, let's get going. So as I mentioned, my name is Kyle Nichols. I am on the education at Circuit Stream, and I do help out with some of the consulting on projects that we do as well. I bring about 3 years of sports and technology experience to the team here at Circuit Stream. And I do like to share this little bit of a fun fact about myself. I used to work with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment here in Toronto, specifically for the Toronto Raptors. And that makes me an NBA champion. So I'm not a player, but I'm about a foot too short after all. But it was a good experience to be a part of. So I do like to tell that story. My teammate and colleague here, Nakisa, is one of our more senior instructors and developers at Circuit Stream. She's definitely a HoloLens 2 and Magic Leap professional, super passionate about the technology. I'm sure she's very sad to see Magic Leap on the decline, but maybe they'll make a comeback, who knows. Nakisa could probably tell this story better than I can, but she used to be involved with the circus as well, and she loves to share that about herself, and she's got some fantastic stories as well with the team. So who is Circuit Stream? Who are we? Well, we're a Canadian company. We were founded in 2015, and really our mission was founded when we noticed a gap in the personalized training and education space within the VR and AR industries. To date, that mission has been really on the forefront of all of what we do, and we've trained over 30,000 students in this space. So as you can see here by the graphic, we're a team of about 20 experts coming from all different backgrounds, from all different industries, from all over the world to help bring this mission to fruition. Circuit Stream is a Unity certified training partner as well. And what exactly is that and what does it mean? Well, it means that we partner with Unity to deliver our training and educational content. And in case you didn't know, training partners are approved based on their expertise, their focus on quality education, and their commitment to providing the highest level of training available in the industry. More recently, we've also become an official Unity channel partner as well, and we are delivering training and app development services in the architecture, engineering, and construction spaces, as well as the automotive, transportation, and manufacturing industries. So what this means is that those individuals and companies who go through our courses, which I'll speak about in a bit, they do get our certificate of completion, which is recognized by Unity. So we really focus on 3 things here at Circuit Stream, and obviously the first one is education and training. And here are some of the companies that we've had the pleasure of having in our programs to date. And as you can see, institutions like the US Navy, organizations like Walmart, Boeing, Facebook, Hershey's, the chocolate company, we've had the pleasure of working with them all, and we would love to work with your organization too, obviously. So now, how do we actually go about teaching and training? Our flagship program here at Circuit Stream is definitely our XR Development with Unity course. It is the flagship service that we offer within the education and training side of the business. I'm going to speak more about this program later on tonight, but just for now, know that it includes 40 hours of live education taught by instructors like Nakisa over a 10-week span. Our next cohort is actually set to commence on December the 1st, and the registration window is active. Now, more recently, we also added our advanced 8-week XR Project Accelerator course. Our inaugural cohort is set to commence on October the 20th. It is sold out. However, we have opened up registration for the January 5th cohort as well. Now, one of the things that differentiates our training and educational services from other companies in the space is the one-to-one support that's included. In our courses, every student gets a dedicated appointment weekly, and in the case of the XR Project Accelerator course, they get multiple appointments weekly to work on a personal project. The idea here is that not only are we going to teach you how to think like an XR developer and develop like an XR developer, but we're actually going to help you bring your project idea to life. Now, the second thing that we focus on here at Circuit Stream is content creation itself. So we are a professional content creation agency. meaning that we can help you by building specific VR and AR training content that you'd like to bring back to your workplace. So we'll consult with you to better understand your employee training as it exists today. We'll work with you to identify barriers and friction points with the training as it exists, and we'll work with you and your internal stakeholders to create bespoke training content that helps you meet and exceed your key performance indicators. Dovetailing from the second point there and the second focus here at CircuitStream, we have built an XR platform. Think of it as the Netflix or the YouTube of VR and AR training content. It's a cloud-based portal that we launched late in 2019, and it was designed to help organizations host and scale their training content. Furthermore, it also allows organizations to easily track, measure, and analyze learning activities. So today, now that you've learned a little bit about us, let's talk about what we're going to chat about. So today we're going to cover, the HoloLens 2, the device and what it's capable of. We're going to talk about some specific knowledge and learning points. We're going to discuss designing and developing using the MRTK package. And Nakisa is also going to talk about some UX and UI frameworks as well. Now, everything that we teach, I've mentioned their name a couple times, but everything we teach is taught using Unity. So if you're brand new to the VR and the AR space, what is Unity? Well, Unity is a free 3D development engine that's used for building games, simulations, and experiences. And it's the easiest way where you can start making applications for XR yourself. Now, XR, if you're not familiar with the term, it just stands for extended reality. It's an umbrella term that refers to both VR and AR. So that's what Unity is, but how do you actually go about creating your own project from scratch? Well, like any good idea, it starts with an idea. You have to actually create and develop that idea in an engine like Unity. You push out that project through an SDK, which stands for a software developer kit. In this case, we're going to be talking about MRTK, as I mentioned. And then ultimately, your idea gets hosted on a device, such as the HoloLens 2. And ultimately, there it is. Look at that beautiful device. We're super excited. I know Nakisa had the chance to play with CircuitStream's HoloLens 2 earlier this year, and I know she loves it. So what is the HoloLens 2? I keep talking about it. What actually is it? Well, it's the second iteration of Microsoft's head-mounted augmented reality device. It provides a spatial and contextual understanding of the world around us, and it also enables, through sensors and other aspects of the device, to interact with the world as we see and engage with it. And then finally, in addition to being the second iteration, what comes with it is more computing power, more sensors, longer battery life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So today is an introduction to the Microsoft HoloLens 2. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Nakisa. So Nakisa's here on stage. Feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Thanks for that. A little brief introduction to myself. I have a background in electrical engineering and physics. So playing with all of this new technology is incredible to do. So I have developed the HoloLens and the Magic Leap applications for CircuitStream here. So I have a lot of experience designing and developing for these two devices that are similar in some ways and different in some others. So the HoloLens is very much an idea as it is a product. When trying to make it work, there's a lot of lessons learned and what its strengths and weaknesses are. What makes it great? So HoloLens is such a force to be reckoned with, and what makes it great and how to build for it and how to produce strong applications that have a good design background, and that sort of knowledge I'm going to pass on here so that you guys can go on and create these apps that have a really strong design to them, and so that you can really make the HoloLens device shine. So this talk is really all about designing and developing for the HoloLens, and what makes this product sort of stand out. So the HoloLens is innovative and new and sort of this mythological creature that we now have to get our hands on. So it's almost like building a plane as we're flying it. And the HoloLens 2 is a completely different beast from anything that we've ever seen. It's remarkable in what it does. And so designing for it is going to be really, really key to understand. So let's just take a brief look at how we design for different things like PC and Mac. So all of these different platforms like, Android and iPhone, they all have similarities, right? They may reimagine their elements or think about some different designs. But if you think about something like an Apple Watch, an iWatch, or an Alexa, like what makes an Alexa so good at something is a lot different from what makes an iPhone good at what it does. And then the HoloLens came out. It's totally new, completely remarkable in what it does. So it takes some of those elements that we've seen from platforms and sort of pieces it together. We can kind of see those things. But in a lot of ways, the HoloLens is really just a revolutionary, far-out device that sometimes we don't understand the idiosyncrasies of. So like head-mounted AR devices are still a new thing that we're still inventing and understanding. So really digging into those differences is what's going to make your design shine. So in terms of those differences in design, we need to think about those differences and sort of respect them. Like the way that you use your fingers to swipe on a smartphone is going to be different from using your hand to wave in the air. And we have to sort of respect those differences and what those feelings sort of look like. And if you don't do that, well, you might get lost in just like the vast capabilities of what this device is actually capable of. And we also need to leverage those differences too. Like the reason why the HoloLens is so great is because it's not a smartphone. It differentiates itself from anything that we've had before. The real goal, if you want to dig into this thing, is in those differences. And that's where you're going to get your really big payoff. Like your menu designs are going to look completely different than something that you see on a PC on a flat surface. So in a practical sense, if you're making an app for the HoloLens, very first thing, you need the device. You need the thing that you're actually building on. There is no substitute. You can't develop on an app or a PC or a smartphone. And it's just not the same if you don't have it there with you and you're working with it. Almost every day you have to put your design on this headset and see how things feel, see how things work out. There were so many times when I was developing for the HoloLens for CircuitStream where we'd come up with a design, how something feels, and then go, nope, that doesn't work. Go back to the drawing board, square one, redo everything. And you know what? That's just part of the learning process. But also on the flip side, if you've ever worked with any like embedded systems, you'll know that like it can be a pain. Like any cutting edge technology, the HoloLens can be rough sometimes. Like, why doesn't this compile? Why doesn't this deploy? Why aren't my sensors being found? So you want to be able to iterate off the device as regularly as possible. So spending a lot of time in Unity and Editor, sort of fine tuning and tweaking so you don't have to constantly be deploying to the device. That being said, the HoloLens is really a device all about its sensors. It's an amazing piece of technology as far as awareness of the world goes. And such a key piece of augmented reality is because the AR sort of understands the real world while overlaying computing on top of that. So the HoloLens 2 is really the best in class in that sense. So it's important to think about your sensors the HoloLens offers you to build. Like, and if you're designing for hand tracking, you want to build around that center of sensors. So no other like AR device has the millimeter precision that the HoloLens 2 has. You can measure where a table is to a very precise degree. So by thinking about that, you can design your app you want around that. Like you can have HoloLens orientation. You know where you are. You know where the room is. You could have collisions on walls. You could have something that sort of spatially recognizes that the fridge door is a door and you can knock on it in case a salad is dressing. So thinking about that, you can think about all the different types of designs that you can come up on with around these sensors. You can do tangible physical things that even smartphones can't do. Like even if your iPhone has depth perception or like a camera depth, it doesn't understand the world in the same way that a HoloLens does. So you're not going to get that fully integrated sort of center sweep that your HoloLens has. So finally, what the most impressive sensor you have on this thing is your hand tracking. You know where every single joint is in your hands. It's fully articulated hand tracking that is best of its class right now. And focusing on hand tracking is going to be a really key part of making a good HoloLens 2 app. It's also one of the ways that this technology differentiates itself from any other technology. Like even if you have a smartphone here, you're still holding your phone and gesturing with your other hand. It's not going to be the same feeling. It's fundamentally different and similar. So as you're designing these things, start with your hand interactions because that's the most intuitive way that humans interact with the world. It's sort of like a dream come true when we can reach out and touch virtual constructs. That being said, it's important to understand that the sensor suite sort of enables humans to integrate their intentions and desires, their bodies into the computational world. That also means that it leaves a lot of people with the inability to integrate. So accessibility is an issue. If somebody doesn't have a hand, or if they have 8 fingers instead of 10 or 12, if that happens, or maybe their eyes have a stigmata and their eyes don't converge in the same ways that other eyes do, then your eye tracking is going to be slightly different. So as technology gets more advanced and more capable in understanding ourselves, our bodies, and the world, there are more exceptions to its ability to understand that. If the only way to interact with a computer, for example, is with the mouse, you can move that mouse with any body part. I can substitute a mouse with a joystick or eye tracker and all these different ways that people can adapt themselves to computing. But with its increased sensor fidelity on the HoloLens, it gets harder and harder for people to adapt themselves to computing and its needs. So its needs need to be more willing to adapt to people. So let's say because the HoloLens and these devices are getting more mobile, are getting more accessible, we're no longer going to be like in an office sitting completely dedicated to working this device. Maybe I will have the headset on and I have a coffee in the other hand, so I only have one hand. So you need to try to make your app as accessible and diversely controlled as possible. As AR becomes more tangible or more accessible to these things and in more everyday life, maybe your person or your user is getting something out of a trunk and they're holding their baby and vomiting everywhere, and you want to still have that voice recognition even though there's a cacophony happening around you. So it's up to you as a designer and developer to utilize all the expressions of a human that you can do or that you can use and capture the attention of that. You need to be able to have tons of bandwidth that allows a user to express themselves. So that being said, in the same sense, you need your app to express back with that same bandwidth. Every single interaction that you have from a different sensor needs to have a different type of feedback. So if you're using your hands, you need to confirm that a user is understanding that and the device is understanding that, and that has a different UI feedback, that has a different sound, or that has a different animation or color or something like that, or selection states. You need to constantly be communicating with your user about which sensors that you are picking. Everything that device understands about the world, you need to confirm with the user that you understand and you can utilize that information. So it's doubly important now with new technology that reminds them of new capabilities. Like swiping on smartphones wasn't really a thing. We had to teach people how to do that. In that same sense, we need to teach people about all the different ways that you can use a HoloLens. So it's almost like feedback overload. So we have to keep in mind that the HoloLens 2 is a relatively low power computer. It has a mobile processor, it has low RAM, it can't really do a lot of onboard things, and everything is draining the battery. So you need to think about using the sensors on the HoloLens to power computing that's happening in other places. So like cloud rendering can render amazingly complex detailed graphics, like a building or an architectural rendering of something, and it can stream that into the HoloLens in real time. You can see sort of an exploding cross-section of details down to every rivet of steel. There are things that you can learn in there. There's maps integration with Bing and what they're doing now with something called a digital twin. You have a highly detailed digital replica of the world around you that you can see in real time through this headset. You can look up into the sky and see the trails of flights in Microsoft's flight simulator and see all the details. Who's on there? Who's not on? You know what? Let's not go down there. So there's a lot of things and a lot of services that Microsoft provides you that you can utilize for your HoloLens. One being your spatial anchors, so geographically placing things and having a shared experience that way. So, and that is also through Bing. So, you can Bing you up, Scotty. And those are things that you can use and utilize for the HoloLens 2. And you have other things like point cloud visualizations. That's also an incredible thing to see on the HoloLens 2 device. So with all that in mind, to reiterate some points, you got to use your differences. You have feedback overload, and utilize all the things available to you, all the tools that Microsoft provides, because they are wonderful tools to use. And I'll hand that back to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Nakisa. Yeah, I love your talk because I just picture every time popping on a HoloLens 2, seeing a plane, knowing land speed, altitude, destination. I think that'd be so cool. Scary, but cool. In any event, yes, I do want to say thank you once again, Nakisa, for sharing your thoughts on design and development for the HoloLens 2. No doubt it's a super powerful device and one that we can't wait to continue exploring with our customers and internally ourselves. Just to wrap things up really quick here, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go over all of our points here. However, I do want to say that regardless of whether you're an individual or an organization looking to integrate with this technology and you do have an interest in building training simulations or any other sort of application in this VR and AR space, we would love to help you out here. And here are a few stories. Individuals, teams, team training, corporate training, we would love to have you in our course. And the two main projects and companies, course types that we have in our program is our 10-week beginner-friendly XR development with Unity course, and our more advanced 8-week XR project accelerator course. You can see on the screen there that live and online training, we do have a couple of upcoming cohorts commencing in the next few months. In addition, we can create some bespoke training for you as well if you'd like to tweak it just a little bit. Say, for example, you want to learn about the HoloLens 2. Just know that for now, the 10-week course, we are going to teach you the fundamentals in Unity, and we are also going to support you weekly with one-to-one assignments where we will help you bring your application to life. No experience is required, so if you are new to this space, don't worry about it at all. We do also offer flexible payment plans as well. All you need to join our course is a computer powerful enough to run Unity comfortably, and a smartphone to deploy simple AR applications. Whether it's Mac or Windows, Android, iPhone, you'll be all set to go. If you are interested in learning more about our educational programs, please don't hesitate to go online to download the syllabus for one of our courses, or visit our private training website if you'd like to learn more about team training. So with all of that said, thank you so much for attending our HoloLens 2 chat today. We do hope you enjoyed it. Please enjoy the remainder of the EWTS conference as well, and have a great rest of the day. Thanks, everyone.